Hi. Could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Robert Grace. I'm the founder and CEO of Sterling Eco.
Cool. Thank you, Robert. So, Robert, where did this journey begin for you?
Well, it began about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Initially. I was asked, because of my previous life, I was a craftsman.
Yeah.
So I was asked to decorate a bike by a German company, and I said send it over to the UK, and they sent it over. And they sent through a kind of step-through moped, which was fully electric. And when we put it together in the workshop, we were riding it around, and it was amazing technology. And there was nothing really like it in the UK at the time. So thinking about what the government narratives are,
Yeah.
and the way the world is heading, we decided to design our own bike. And that's where it all began, really.
Yeah. So from that point, how did it get to now? I mean, obviously we're sitting in this incredible showroom. Can you give us a little bit of background about how we got to here?
How I personally have got to here isn't a journey that I've taken on my own. It's been because of the amazing group of people that I have around me that have helped this company achieve what it has in the short time that it's been around, really. From the showroom, from when I very first met T, from Anne-Marie and the art gallery, and everybody that has connected with us from day one has really they've all brought something to the table and not wanted to take anything out, and that's what's enabled this business to become a success.
So you've mentioned art. Can we talk a bit more about that? Because one of your taglines is the art of less pollution. So can you talk about how the art is incorporated into Sterling Eco?
Well, first and foremost, the showroom here is a 7,000 square foot showroom, and it's an ex-Volkswagen showroom, car showroom. And in the centre of it is the Bickerton Grace Gallery, which was up and operational before this company. The whole idea of me being asked to decorate a bike was the core of what we wanted to do. We are a group of highly motivated creatives, so we're really unorthodox in this industry. We don't come from a car salesman or a motorbike salesman perspective. We've looked at this business and entered into this industry from outside in, but because of the way that the world is changing and how we perceive cities and towns to be, or what is the world going to be like in 5 years, for instance, that's kind of been the approach, and it's had us in good stead.
Yeah.
For that.
So we're sitting in the showroom now, and we are surrounded by art, but not just on the walls. So the art has progressed onto the bikes. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? Well,
that's what sets us aside from our peers, our ability to decorate the bikes. They're affordable first and foremost, but then we've made them affordable being fully decorated as well. We've connected with Dave Bristow, Extreme Art Studio. He is top 3 airbrush artist in the world, and he's joined us with the same vision, and now we're able to offer fully customised bikes for less than £5,000,
which is amazing.
And then obviously with my previous work, I work in precious metals, so we have the Black Label collection as well now, which is a collection in itself.
So you were talking about the team that were around you. So when T joined Sterling Eco, that was from the very beginning. So how do you see that relationship has travelled through to current day, which is almost 2 years ago now?
Yeah, we're fast approaching our 2nd birthday, which is in July, and I was in this showroom for less than a week, almost scratching my head about how and what to do. And I primarily have been me decorating individual bikes and selling them, and then it just so happened that T came along. He was passing by, and we're going to document the journey that T and I have had in this business. He's a real smart guy, and without T joining the company at the time that he did, I would almost certainly just be making individual bikes to sell them on. But this business, because of T coming in at the point that he did, we've expanded immediately into just the size of the business that it is.
So leading on from that, I would like to just talk about the social media side of things. That's become pretty powerful with Sterling Eco. Again, can you talk a bit more about how Sterling Eco has embraced social media?
Well, we had the showroom in the middle of lockdown, and we set the company up in the middle of lockdown. So not being able to open the doors here, we didn't sit back on our laurels, and it was a blessing in the sense that we had a lot of time to work on social media, and T was immediately onto that, and he's got a great, he's very intuitive with the social media, and also he's willing to learn, and that's really helped our social media. And social media now is the way that we advertise. We don't pay for advertising anywhere. Everything we do is through social media and reels and
the other thing which is quite lovely is you get out there on the bikes and people see you riding these bikes on the streets and have now come to recognise, especially the two of you and the others like Alan who've joined you on the journey. How does that feel?
Well, again, rather than sit back waiting for success, I suppose, to come to us, we went out, we were out and about. So rather than sitting here, we were out every day, and as soon as we got the first registrations through on the bikes, we were canvassing on the street basically.
Yeah.
And the bikes are so distinct that we get stopped everywhere we go. You can't stop at traffic lights without somebody wanting to speak to you about the bikes and what have you. And
speaking of the bikes, so there's one revolving around you at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty unique shape, isn't it? And it's quite beautiful. Can you tell us any more about these bikes?
Yeah, well, in my previous life as a craftsman, I've worked for some of the finest architects and designers in the world, and I know that the holy grail of any kind of design is to retain something of the old but make it new, and that's what we've done with the Electro Ride. We've tried to keep an old-fashioned chopper shape, but make it look like an electric bike. We know that we're not here to preach to the converted, and the transition between combustion to electric is a really difficult one for people to take financially, first and foremost, and also performance-wise.
Yeah.
And what we've done with the Electro Ride is design and build an entry-level bike. And we know that the technology is so fluid that in the short space of time that we've been incorporated as a company, we know that technology is very much catching up with what traditional bikers want. And as the government's narratives and the pressures that the establishment's putting on to ordinary car drivers and ordinary bikers, we want to be there with a affordable, functional, but also stylish alternative to the way that we travel around in cities.
So speaking of that, and prices increasing around us with the ULEZ expanding, timing is quite important.
I think, well, serendipity is the name of everything about this business has been serendipity, because everybody that's gravitated towards us has come at the right time, and with the right, like Cliff Hogan, for instance, our operations and sales director now that's joined the company, comes from a motorbike, a car salesman kind of background, and he's had a lifetime in it, and he's a systems guy. And whereas T and I and Anne-Marie in the gallery, we're not we're creatives, so it's quite difficult for us to work to any particular systems, and Cliff is the right man for that, and he's come in and he's putting all the systems in place which make this operate as a proper business, but we can still, which also means that we can still be ourselves and still think outside the box, creativity wise, because creativity creates more wealth than anything else, and so we have to keep being innovative, keep being creative,
and keeping up with trends and what people want.
Or even stepping ahead of what almost taking a punt on what trends are going to be like in the future. But for any business to succeed, you need to have something that has no barriers, and price has to be, particularly now, price has to be first and foremost. Functional. These bikes are sold to people that need to get to and from work, so they have to be functional as well. They have to be future-proof, which means that as the technology improves, we can improve the systems on the bike without having to buy a new bike. There's a lot that goes into it in that sense, but it's doable. The actual technology, although it's brilliant, it's really quite a simple technology.
Yeah. Tell me a bit about the feedback that you've been getting from not just the general public, but from celebrities That's been quite phenomenal, hasn't it?
It has, yeah. A lot of celebrities are gravitating towards us as well and connecting with us because we're a non-political organisation. We've had no help whatsoever in terms of government. You know, it's been really, really difficult for anybody to want to have anything to do with what we're doing. And unless it's got corporate stamped all over it, I don't think they are interested. So we've got our own little political party here, basically. Our message is art and less pollution, and that's embarrassing not to agree with. And I think that message resonates with everybody, whether they're celebrities or just ordinary people that walk in through the door that need an alternative to get to and from work.
Just one question that's just popped into my head. Can you remember the very first customer?
Yes, Adrian. Yeah, he came in on a dustbin lorry from the council, and we thought he was here to empty the bins. A big dustbin lorry pulled into the thing, and then he ran in and said, "Wow, these look great. I get paid at the end of the month. I'm coming back."
Yeah.
And we said, "Yeah, it's great." And he was so enthusiastic, and he came back, and we sold our first bike to him, and he's become a member of our family, as it were. He's tinkered with his bike. He's added bits to it and sends us images, and it's great. Yeah. So, and he's just an ordinary, hard-working individual. Yeah, just a normal guy.
So has there been any real highlights that stand in your mind over the past 2 years on this journey?
I think the journey itself has been a highlight because I think that individually I've managed to kind of think to myself, just to see something through to the finish personally, you know, and think about what I would want to achieve for myself. And there are highlights which are almost like, I call them stepping stones, but they're stepping stones that you want to pick up and take with you, because everybody that's connected with this company from the very beginning has become an integral part of how the success has been building on this company. And that's so it's a cliche to say every day is a highlight, but everybody that is connected with the company, it's always great when we all go out for something to eat and sit around the same table. That's the highlight for me.
Yeah, and it's happened pretty fast, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has happened.
The lockdown that we had at the beginning, and
again, I'm a true believer that when T came along, because there's a generation between us, and his energy and enthusiasm kind of fuels my older soul, you know, and but I hope that I can hand on some experience of some life experiences, and I know that he listens. He's his own man, but he's a big driving force behind this, and of course Anne-Marie on the gallery side of things just works tirelessly on the art side of things, just coordinating and getting everything to work together.
The fusion coming together. And where do you see this going forward?
Well, we've now connected with a partner in America who has become a company director, Peter, and we're rolling out across America. We're negotiating with countries all over the world, taking sure sound steps in how we do this, and the innovation side of things, we're really excited about that, and it's just our message of art and less pollution. It's really getting out there. It's resonating with people. They understand it, but there's no point in creating something that's unaffordable as well. It needs to be practical. There needs to be that practical element to what we're doing.
And you find people are quite surprised when you tell them the price of these bikes, because
price has never been an issue. It's never been a barrier, price. So we know that we've got that right.
Yeah.
And they have different options on price as well, from standard bikes up to the all singing, all dancing.
So final question. I think you've answered this question already, but we'll just go over it again. If you were to sum up Sterling Eco in one sentence, could you do that? What would it be?
Well, there's quite a few analogies that I try and use. We may not be the biggest fish in the pond, but we're certainly the best looking fish in the aquarium. That's one of the analogies I use. But our message is quite a simple one, really. Art is the only document that we have to prove our past, and less pollution has to be the future. So
Beautiful.
That's the message.
Beautifully said. Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.